Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I'm sharing with you a tutorial for an Altoid tin that is being altered using mixed media products from Finnabair. And I'm starting with just a regular Altoid tin and some 3D matte gel. You'll notice I don't have any gesso or anything on there. I've just got some metal embellishments, even some metal buttons that I'm using wire cutters to just pop the back off of the metal button and stick it right to the Altoid tin. I try to find some interesting things. These are some paper flowers as well. So lots of different textures and looks and mediums and just things like that. I've got some stones and all using that 3D matte gel to make an interesting composition. Now I'm going to cover everything with this heavy gesso, and it's black, but heavy gesso meaning that I will only need one coat because it's pretty thick. Now as I was assembling the piece, you'll notice there's lots of colors everywhere, and I try to become colorblind when I am doing these mixed media projects because I know that I'm going to cover everything in gesso once it gets assembled the way I want. Looks great. That is one coat of black gesso. And now I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to make some decisions as to what colors I want. But these Opal Magic paints and waxes have unique properties. This is the wax, and let me show you here. I've got some craft sticks. Each craft stick has white and black gesso on it. And these Opal Magic waxes and paints appear differently with white and black backgrounds. So I'm just making myself almost like a little guide here. So like you see how it appears coral on the white and then green against the black, and it's the same paint. I really, really, really love Opal Magic a lot. Here is yellow you see against the white and pink against the black, same paint. Here is teal against the white and pink against the black. And then here is purple or violet against the white and gold against the black. So now it's just a matter of some decision making, and I'm using those craft sticks almost like as just little guides, because even though like each little paint or wax is going to have a combination of two colors or an outcome of possibly two colors depending on the background surface color, there's always going to be hints of that other color. And in the back of my mind, I know that didn't make any sense probably, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking once it's dry, I would love to incorporate some white gesso as another layer and then let that dry and go back in with the same type of paint to just really bring out both of those colors in each of the paints or waxes that I'm using. So really, I'm just going in. Remember I put the paper flowers down and then covered them with gesso. So I'm just going in. I have this little mini palette and just painting my initial coating down, and a little bit of water to sort of make sure that the paint gets into all the little nooks and crannies. And then after it sort of settles down a bit, then I'll see what I have after that. But this is really the fun part. This is where I sort of just play with the paints and get down my initial look here. Just a spray bottle of water just to, like I said, let that sort of slide into all the crevices. I also use my heat gun to help speed along the drying process. Although I did learn that when you're using your heat gun on an Altoid tin box, it is metal, so you have to be mindful. Here I'm using some white gesso and a dry brushing technique. And this is, you can see the barely amount of white gesso that I'm using. I'm using basically the back of my hand as a palette. And it's really just in an effort to bring out all of those little intricacies that I had spent so much time gluing and assembling in the first place. Otherwise, they'll just disappear into the black background unless you're way, way up close. So I really like the dry brushing. It just, like I said, makes all of those little details in the piece come to life. It's neat to see it's as the gesso gets applied. all the little details. It's really cool. I love it. Well, then that got me thinking. I thought, ooh, I remembered that I was using Opal Magic, which it would be cool then to start that technique here, what I was talking about earlier, having a little bit stronger maybe of the white gesso in some areas, so that when I went back in with some more of that paint, it would hit the white background and the black background at the same time, like on the same little button piece or the little, you know, metal piece or whatever it was. So like, for example, I'm going in here with it's called Blue Velvet, and I'm hoping that then we'll get to see some of the purple and some of the pearlescent, just like we did on the craft stick, how we got to see both colors. I did have to go in a little bit with my brush because my finger just could not get into those little tiny cracks and crevices. And it's fun to see the project come to life at this point. I like making interesting colored items that are maybe unconventional. And I also like that while I'm doing this with the Opal Magic, I have the craft sticks nearby. Incidentally, I did later on take a Sharpie and label each craft stick so I could keep it in my craft stash along with the products. Now I'm going back in with a little bit of black gesso, almost using it like you would an acrylic paint, but I just wanted to sort of enhance some of the shadows that maybe I waxed over or painted over, but just to put some of those back in. I'm not going to be so careful when I'm painting because I can always go back in with a teeny tiny brush and make that right again later. As I go along, I make sure to just pay attention to detail and sort of step back a little bit, look at it from a distance. I do have some chipboard words. They are from Craft O'Clock, and I am going to use the one #hope. I thought that this would be a neat idea. Actually, my thought of the box was to maybe prepare to give as a gift to somebody, maybe somebody who needed some encouragement. You could write little tiny encouraging words or phrases or quotes or Bible verses or whatever, and fold them up and put them in the box, and then give it to a person who is really needing encouragement, and then just encourage them, you know, that whenever they need a little bit of hope, a little bit of pick-me-up, they could open the box and read some of your encouraging words and then feel invigorated. So I'm just going back in with a little bit more of the paint. I don't want to do a whole lot, but, you know, I'm trying not to overdo it. But, of course, when you're working on mixed media, sometimes it just never feels like you're finished. You could always add something, a little bit more color. But I finally decided that I was almost done, so I put a little bit of scrap paper over top of the chipboard word, and I'm going to go in with some paint spatter. I have no idea why I didn't move the bottom part of the Altoid box out of my way before I did the paint spatter. Luckily, I didn't get but like one drop in there, which came out easily. So just a little bit of black paint spatter mixed with some water. And then some tweezers to get that scrap paper out of the way, and I was mainly happy with that. Here's what it looks like all finished and dry. I love it. I love it so much. That paint spatter just adds a little bit of a final extra. That's what I needed. And you'll see that it attaches right back onto the Altoid tin very, very easily. Use that same butter knife to just fold those little metal lips right back into place. So thanks so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe. And if you were inspired, don't forget to leave a super thanks, and check out these videos that I'm leaving you here. See you next time. Bye-bye.